October 11th, 9:30 p.m. Just been looking at things today. All this paganism, paganism is the theme today, and I'm just going to play some of this stuff. This is a 1933.
Came to be one of them.
I'll take the soundtrack off. This is a Jewish ceremony organized by Zionists in Soldier Field in Chicago in 33. And they're worshiping Moloch, they're worshiping Baal. It's ritual ceremonies and just everything I've been studying lately. And what strikes me is the 33. That's the 33-degree Masons, is the association I have with how elaborate all of this was. And that it's clearly showing this pagan ceremony. And the person who compiled this has a description in the description box saying that it's not anti-Semitic or it's not anti-Catholic or whatever. It's that Satan has infiltrated all of these religions. Just look at this. This is clearly the same kind of pagan ritual you see with Pachamama or Burning Man or, these drug culture, satanic, Aleister Crowley costume festivals. But this one is so blatant. It's astounding that it was a public festival in 33 before, just like Bohemian Grove or any of the secret societies, nobody knew what it was all about. But this is obviously, just like at CERN, that it isn't done with any kind of, the symbolism is not random. You can see the Egyptian symbolism. And look at this. This is sacrificing a child. Look at what's being thrown into the belly of this sacrificed to the god of evil, to Lucifer, to Satan, to anybody who sees this can't help but be aware that it's not a Christian nation. I think that's the ultimate point I keep coming back to, is that the notion that America was a Christian nation or is a Christian nation, when it's a place where every pagan religion is welcome, and the corruption of Christianity itself started in the founding documents with a nation that is created by Freemasons, largely Freemasonic belief system. We go to other things, I'm fascinated by it because it's like Cecil B. DeMille was a Freemason. He made Birth of a Nation and The Greatest Story Ever Told, and it's really the 33-degree Freemason. I can imagine DeMille being behind this, building all of these same stage sets. Later on, I'll just go to this move forward in time. There's CERN. That's the symbol Shiva, the god of destruction. It's at CERN, but it's the standard Hindu god who Oppenheimer referenced after the first nuclear bomb was detonated. And moving to this ceremony for Olympic Games. Look at this. there's really the pictures speak for themselves. There's so little I can provide historic narrative, but these pictures just say it all. Here's Bohemian Grove, where the rich and powerful come to misbehave. Why? There's a little bit better. This right here is at Bohemian Grove. That's Richard Nixon, and that's Ronald Reagan flanking this dignitary in the Bohemian society. It's interesting that it's Bohemia because that's artistic Bohemia of Bohemian Paris. And it all, the culture derives from that. All of modernism devolves is the word that comes to mind. The people that gather devolves from Bohemian Europe, Bohemian Paris primarily, but also Berlin and London. The people that gather at Bohemian Grove, who have included prominent business leaders, former US presidents, musicians, and oil barons. And the musicians is important. That's the entertainment. The arts and entertainment are the purveyors of this decadence. Are told that weaving spiders come not here, meaning business deals are to be left outside. One exception was in 1942 when planning for the Manhattan Project. That's the reference to the atomic bomb and Shiva. Spokesmen for Bohemian Grove say the people that gather there share a passion for the outdoors, music, and most of all, theater, all these theatrical displays. Here's another one. Here's the Burning Man. Without the trance music is all important. And here's the worship. There's the triangle. There's the all-seeing eye, right? It's all Illuminati symbolism. It just changes according to how the architects or the theatrical producers want to vary it. But this is a culture in complete disintegration, bobbing around. This would be the same as a megachurch. The same thing as all of this supernaturalism and where's Jesus in all of this? Well, he's not to be seen when there's a rock concert going on. He doesn't like rock music. This kind of music, trance music, Led Zeppelin, playing at Christian churches, or Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, or Bob Dylan. Just kind of, also drugs are the integral part of it. I mean, if you can't have experience God without being on a drug high or a music high, then you're not experiencing God. And then it's all about euphoria. This is the worship of Dionysus, or pleasure, the pleasure principle, and Thanatos, or death. Let's see. This is interesting. Do the sound
Do
on this.
either of you have any questions for Miss Pentecost?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you like her eyeshadow. That's great. Yeah. Yeah, maybe she'll let you borrow it. When
I
you're
would have
older,
liked
when you're
this.
allowed to wear
I just-
makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, one of the things I think is great about Miss Pentecost is she reminds us that we follow a God who calls us to not conform to things of this world. That we're supposed to be transformed by the renewal of our minds. And that means that what I think today may have to change tomorrow if I continue to renew my mind. And it's so cool that we serve a God that calls us to continue to grow and continue to change into something new. and to not be bound by the ways that the world confines us sometimes, that we're supposed to live differently.
Let's go to this first. This is a mental illness, dysmorphic somatic narcissism spectrum disorder. And this is common, just like what I was looking at there with this Christian church. I mean, the Christian church has gone off into pagan worship ceremonies when you have tattooed love boys or love girls wearing uh, negligees or wearing outrageous costumes. And what are the sermons on? The sermons are on American colonialism or slave owners, or, it's all politicized, and it has nothing to do with worshiping God or prayer. It has to do with political. It could be Republican, it could be Democrat, it could be far left, but ultimately, this is the obsessed accentuation, pathological seduction, augmentation and delusion, this clinically psychotic, people changing their facial features, their genitalia, their sexual characteristics, they're taking drugs for sexual enhancement, Viagra or whatever aphrodisiacs, or like Kissinger said, power is the ultimate aphrodisiac. So the world has gone mad. It's spinning, spiraling down into the last days. And it's bizarre to me that Christians seem the last people to be aware of the fact, or most Christians, let's put it that way, they're just looking at themselves in the mirror. They aren't American Christians. I bring up the subject of Armageddon or the Third World War or what's going on in Europe or even what's going on outside of their fashion show. It's that's being negative. It's pretty negative out there. And here's the originator, Adam Weishaupt of the Illuminati. He created the Illuminati, funded it. This is their objective, and this is what they've achieved. Their objectives are as follows. 1, abolition of all ordered governments, abolition of private property, abolition of inheritance, abolition of patriotism, abolition of the family. That's what you see out at Burning Man. It's the family is the rainbow tribe. There's no marriage. There's no, you hook up. If you have children, this was the ethic of the Beat generation. It's the ethic of the hippie generation. You have children, let somebody else take care of them. I remember hearing, there's an interview with a book of interviews with William Burroughs and Patti Smith and Terry Southern and all the Illuminati of the counterculture. And Patti Smith is saying, my kid will have to take care of itself, or they're on their own trip. Burroughs's kid, he shoots his wife in the head. She's carried their child to term that has amphetamine addiction, born with an amphetamine addiction. He's schizophrenic, or you don't have a child when you're a amphetamine addict, unless you're a sick individual. So to call people who are so sick as they would shoot their wives in the head and idolize this so-called aristocracy that come from a line of the same kind of monstrous people as Weishaupt, abolition of inheritance, abolition of patriotism. Yeah, everybody's part of the rainbow family of freak show. Halloween parade. That's paganism or Satanism leads to the same total destruction. Abolition of religion is central because a God that demands obedience and that sets a law for human beings is overthrown now. And creation of the world government, that the head of it is the Bohemian Grove or the World Economic Forum, or all these people that have pushed the world past the brink now. The Hermetic tradition represents a non-Christian lineage of Hellenistic Gnosticism. That's another name for it. The Theosophical Societies, the Orders of the Golden Dawn, and the Knights of the Golden Circle, and the Ku Klux Klan, and the Jesuits. The central texts of the tradition, the Corpus Hermeticum, were lost to the West in classical times. Their rediscovery and translation during the late 15th century by the Renaissance court of Cosimo de' Medici provided a seminal force in the development of Renaissance thought and culture. The humanist tradition, man is the center of the universe, God has been overthrown. The complete Corpus Hermeticum is comprised of 18 tracts. Only the first and primary 13 of these are presently contained in our library. The texts presented here are taken from the very fine translation of G.R.S. Mead, Thrice Great Hermes, Studies in Hellenistic Theosophy and Gnosis, Volume 2. That's where you get the Elaine Pagel's Gnostic Gospels and overthrowing the Bible itself and saying that the book of Revelation or the ravings of a madman. This is the theocracy of the left. It's the theocracy of the cosmic Christ. Drop a lot of LSD, smoke pot every day, have orgies, and you're on your way to the madhouse. You're on your way to Burning Man. You're not on your way to enlightenment. The age of enlightenment is the age of darkness, and it's the age of darkness that has gotten ever darker and darker and darker. And you have these academics come in to the universities and teach that we're going to overthrow the establishment and create, this is our utopia. This is the perfect left utopia. And how are we going to grow crops? Oh, well, we don't have any water now because we've poisoned it all. God is bringing drought all over the world. That's not global warming. I believe in God. I believe in the Bible. I believe in it literally. And I know that it's true. And I know that this is hell on earth and it's hell for eternity. Look at these. These are your dysphoric celebrities. This came up also. This stuff just pours into my screen. Mickey Rourke, here we go. This is the wages of that selling your soul for money and fame. And mind blown completely. They don't know who they are. Anna Nicole Smith's daughter. It's grotesque, but it shows visually what's happening. Look at the hair. It's all plastic. It's all this plastic surgery. So people are half human and half cyborg or half silicon or half Botox injections. Or I don't even know what this is. Brendan Fraser, look. And this isn't me ridiculing or making fun of what's happened to these people. This is horrifying. Plus, you get all of these ads. I mean, if you're going to look at anything, ad after ad after ad at Lego, and here's Goldie Hawn. You know, look at how the changes are just catastrophic. But you can also see that there's a complete insanity, and I recognize it. I don't know why other people don't recognize it, because they just see this. They see them as the images, as the lighting, and as the cosmetics. I don't even know who Heidi Klum is. I don't even follow that many celebrities, to be honest. Here's Jack Nicholson. And Jack Nicholson's gone to senile dementia land, where Neverland, like Brando and Michael Jackson. And Jackson was a pedophile. Uh, Nicholson supplied, the woman for the satanic ritual with Polanski sodomizing this 13-year-old that was drugged. It's this whole satanic culture. Every one of Polanski's films is about the satanic. You can just look from one film to the next. I won't go through the whole uh, filmography, but it's real. Also, it happens in real life. Sharon Tate, his wife, he's making sex films of Sharon Tate. Sharon Tate's, you know, having affairs with Steve McQueen, and on and on and on. There's brought into this Hollywood society to become famous, and then are used sexually and exploited, and it's all under to live out this fantasy. Well, the fantasy is a nightmare, where Polanski is filming Sharon Tate for his own sexual pleasure, to watch the films afterwards, and it's Satanism. Whatever you want to call it, you can call it what you will. Paganism, maybe that goes down better. But Gnosticism, maybe call it Gnosticism, and it says, you can see it in the features, you can see it in the look of lost. Depp talked about it in his trial, that he can't sleep, he has to be on massive amounts of drugs, just like Michael, just to maintain a level of functionality. They have to be in a state of possession, because the drugs bring the demonic possession. That's the plain and simple truth. And all the Viper Club, River Phoenix kills himself, all the death, all the early childhood death, and this, I don't know who this, Versace's daughter, I guess. It's so clearly real, not something that's an entertainment spectacle. Matthew Perry, just see, where's Britney Spears, 40 years old. She looks like she's 60 years old. Keith Richards, completely zombified, and yet the obsession with fame and the obsession with youth and eternal youth, when there's nothing but death. That's the deal. Meg Ryan. You wouldn't even recognize them, really. You wouldn't recognize Keith Richards if you hadn't seen him year in and year out. If you had known this person and saw this person lying in the gutter, you'd have no idea that the two two were connected. Or Meg Ryan. Plastic surgery that's too much for some people. These restored pics. Here's another one, a child actor that's evil is evil, you know. Evil is overtakes him. 42 years old, again, completely transformed, completely possessed by the demonic. And here you go. Who are they? Who is this? Who is this? Well, that's a demonic possession. That's people that have taken all of this temptation of the devil, Little Kim, somebody I don't even know, a rap star, Jim Carrey, mad as a hatter, you know. TM, he's Mr. Zen, he's Mr. Out of his mind. But would Jim Carrey know that we're in World War III? Would he know that people are dying by the tens of millions and starving to death? It's not a concern because it doesn't affect him. That's the narcissistic side of this somatic disease. But narcissism is just another word for demonic, giving your soul over to the devil. You are God. Christy Alley. Doctor reveals how to remove a hanging belly. You can't even, what alternative to the blue pill, then and now. This guy. I stopped watching movies a while back because they're too unbearable. Madonna, what is with this is the other thing, is what is with the metal teeth? It's like I saw that with Johnny Depp. What is with this metal teeth? Is she gonna saw them off now and have fangs, or are they some kind of insert? But the demonic look of people is expressed through visually. If you bother to look instead of this, and everything is even compared to Keith Richards. Mick Jagger is trying to, keep his hair done and all. Keith Richards, he's colored his hair, whatever he can do to still manage to seem. You can only imagine how horrific this stuff is behind the scenes when it's not when it's not a show. And it falls apart immediately. This guy is insane. And Chevy Chase Chevy Chase was never funny. It's like he'd do the same thing over and over again. Gerald Ford falling off the stage. Gerald Ford, of course, he could be Joe Biden. That's all the whole routine with Chevy Chase was with Gerald Ford was, and Gerald Ford is a 33-degree Mason. Look it up on the internet. Look it up in Wikipedia even. Kate Moss, I didn't even, she was married to Tom Cruise or something. What is going on with the eye? See? Stallone. 36 years old. And you just see the transformation, but you can still see this kind of evil, demonic look. at earlier ages, or this kind of vacuous. You know, he was a porn star, right? So he goes from porn star to making the same film over and over and over again, or Rambo, where America really won the If only we had Rambo, we would have won the Vietnam War single-handedly. Schwarzenegger and other, you know, the yes, you gain the world, you know, you gain the world, and then you end up as the exterminator. You're an exterminator. I don't know who this is, Kelly LeBrock. It just goes on and on. Al Pacino, mad as a hatter, and he's just gotten his new 20-year-old wife or what have you. Joan Van Ark. I know that the fans of these pop stars are just going to be going wild. That uh, there's a fascination with this death cult, you know, and to think that everything is great because they have all this money. And they gave us so much pleasure when we saw them when they were younger. And they were in these fabulous fantasy movies. Oh man, I tell you, what's all this with the skin? You know, what's going on? It's like the leather, like lizard, the Lizard King, just like Jim Morrison was alive. Yes, and they're all, you know, it's all uh, far left. It's all let's have the revolution. Let's you know, get rid of conservatism because there are rules with behavioral rules associated with conservatism, like of marriage and adultery and things like this, which are too confining for to be a superstar. How to lose 45 pounds, and it's all this genital looking Superman trick is leaving wife. You know, it's so blatantly in your face on everything you look at. Bridget Bardot, I didn't know she was still alive. Yeah, just completely 45 years old. Sally Struthers of All in the Family, 75 years old. And it's just to say there's a depression there. Anybody who's like this is clearly unhappy, rather than saying, oh, they're really having they're really having, because they laugh and they smile you can see the level of happiness at this, you know, whoever this guy is. Paul Stanley must be a death metal, heavy metal. There's a possessed look on this guy's face that I can't even imagine that that it isn't some kind of robotics, some kind of mask put over a human skull, because it doesn't look. It looks like there's a plastic, but this is the same kind of you know, it's the transvestite look for men. Like they start putting on eyelashes and lipstick. Kathleen Turner, yeah, it's that's 68 years old. Wait, you know, she shouldn't look like that at 68 years old. With all the care they're given and all the money they have, there's a this guy, holy cow. I think what they are, the demonic possession comes from the roles they play. You know, he plays Jim Morrison, he plays John Holmes and Wonderland Avenue, that they become those spirits, those demonic beings that possess them. They end up inhabiting them and they end up going insane. Val Kilmer's had so much plastic surgery that he looks like a porcelain doll. Maybe that's what that guy's look was, Paul Stanley. Don't know her. 67. Ozzy Osbourne, yeah. There's and I heard Ozzy Osbourne the other day. He's just out of it. I mean, they're just completely just and Americans, or I don't know who people that are at Burning Man think that it's all hilarious, that there is no life after death, that you can worship Satan, and really if you want to convert back to Christianity, you just say accept me back, Jesus, I want to go to heaven on the deathbed. Doesn't work that way. All right, I'm closing up for shop for tonight.